What's up, y'all? Toya here, and I am back with another video for y'all. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and share. Alright, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Toya Reacts. Here we react to anything and everything gig related. So let's go ahead and get into the first video, y'all. Today gonna be a crazy episode, okay? Let's go ahead and get to it.
Is it worth it working full-time in 2023 from your perspective?
From my perspective, I would say there's so many different factors that come into play when you say, is it worthwhile to do full-time? Are you trying to take care of 8 kids, 2 wives, 14 cars, whatever the case may be? It really all depends on, there's so many different factors. But if you're like a single household where it's just you, your bills aren't like out the roof. A lot of people put themselves in bad financial situations as far as they mismanage their money. So they're pushing it to the point where they got to go out and they got to make all this money so fast instead of managing their money better. But yes, can it still be worthwhile? Yes. If you get, as long as you're working your apps properly and you have all the apps and you're working them to the maximum amount, yes, I still think it's very viable in 2023.
All right, so now this was a topic that I've touched bases on a few times, actually. And, there really isn't that concrete answer where it's like, yes, it is, or no, it isn't. Like the guy said, it kind of depends on, it's a lot of different variables, honestly. So like for myself, in my opinion, it depends on your market, where you live in your market, when you want to go ahead and work, the types of apps that you're utilizing. It's a lot of different things that, the type of vehicle that you have, whether you're driving a car or a truck or van, a lot of stuff. And it's kind of funny, the example you gave, you got all these people you got to take care of, all these kids, your wife, your side piece, whoever, not trying to say that you can't do it, but it's going to be a lot more difficult because, you can't really come into the gig game expecting that you're going to be making like 6 figures out the door. And that's really going to vary on your market. So, maybe that can happen in California, but weighing out the cost of living, it still may not be worth it in the long run because you still got to go ahead and put some money back into your vehicle. And it's a tough question. I know this is something that, like I said, I've discussed before. And like for me, I've really only been in this game for coming up on a year now. So like my first taste of gig work was back during the pandemic when it first started. So like March, April 2020, I started doing DoorDash because, well, since everything was closed, there really wasn't much for me to do. So I opted to go do a little DoorDash. And I didn't really have a direction as far as like what I wanted to do. Like, yeah, I wanted extra money, but I didn't really understand the platform and sense of like, getting your acceptance rate up to, a certain point and all of that stuff. And I don't even know if they had all of those reward systems back then. I don't recall. But, for myself being a newer person in the gig game, it gets a little difficult because yes, it does seem like the market is saturated, at least where I am. And there are slow days where, I just don't get anything. I wouldn't even say days. I would say slow weeks because I do gig work part-time. I have a full-time job. So there are some weeks where I will go, a week or two and I might not do any gigs at all. So, it just kind of depends on, how you want to work, what your expectations are, stuff like that. So I can only really speak on a part-time gig worker perspective. But if there's anybody that does do gig work full-time, let me know, what you guys think, because I'm going to assume, especially for those folks that have been doing gig work, like I would say pre-pandemic, I'm pretty sure things were a lot different back then compared to now. I would say the main thing is, that saturation, a lot more people are trying to get into it. So there may not be enough work for everybody to go around. And not trying to say like, it's a waste, there's not enough to go around, so don't do it. You just have to utilize the apps that are available at your fingertips. And like you said, maximize those apps to their full potential so you can make the most profit out of them. Yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Like I said, I have covered this a few times before, but it's always going to be a never-ending conversation, because as things evolve, month to month, year to year, things are going to change. How the gig economy was a year ago versus 2, 3, 5 years ago, it's going to be different. So it's definitely something that we still need to talk about, because like I said, as things evolve, it may or may not be worth it anymore. It just depends on, how things are operating. All right, moving on to the next video.
You knock on the wrong door or pull up to the wrong address, and then before you know it, bullets are flying.
This 18-year-old Instacart driver shows us bullet hole after bullet hole lodged in her car. She says she was making a grocery delivery with her boyfriend.
It was like super dark. There weren't no street lights. I'm like, I don't know if this is it. That's when we see like this flashlight. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's them. Like maybe that's her husband.
They say they identified themselves, but it didn't matter. Someone blocked them in, and then it happened. Several bullets hit their car as they made a U-turn and rushed away from the property. Blocks away, they called police. The neighbor whom the grocery delivery was meant for told investigators he then saw them begin to drive erratically in an attempt to exit the property. The shooter, Antonio, told investigators he feared for his children's safety. He stated that he shot out 3 rounds at the vehicle. His intention was to disable the vehicle so that it was no longer a danger. The teens, thankful to be alive, believe the situation should have been handled differently.
Absolutely. Bro, see, this is why I don't do deliveries at nighttime or early mornings at night or whatever, because people crazy. A lot of people who own weapons, they just want something to pop off. I need to use this. I'm ready. I am ready to go. So any little thing that may seem a little suspicious, they nah, we about to go. No, bro. That dude, I don't know if there's any other follow-up. I'll have to check the description to see if there's any other information on it. But that person need to get locked up. They really do. Because, I could understand if somebody pulled up into the house. They literally went into your house. And you have the right to defend yourself at that point. But they're outside of your property. They're bringing up groceries. And you just assume the worst. Bro. These folks, they lucky to be alive. They are really lucky to be alive, because you don't know what people's intentions are. And like I said, this isn't to scare people from doing any late night deliveries, because you got to do what you got to do. It don't matter what time of day. So, but this is just another example of, why you have to be careful and you have to be aware of your surroundings. And if anything, with this, in this case, I don't know what all the steps that they took before they started walking up to this house. I don't know if they tried to call the person. Yeah, that is one thing that I will say. If you're doing a late delivery, you got to have something to help you identify the house. Because I ain't gonna lie, I think I did one Amazon route, and it took me into the later hours, and it was dark. I think I had maybe 4 or 5 packages left, and at that time it was dark. This was I think November, December last year. Yeah. And at that time, it starts getting dark at 4 or 5 o'clock. So that was on me. And I never done this ever again after that. But that was on me. So I'm pulling up to these houses, and you can't see the numbers because, it's dark. And sometimes the GPS on the app, it might send you off and, say that it's this house, but it's actually this house that's next to it or across the street. So sometimes you can't even rely on that. So in all honesty, I probably would have just called them. Like I said, I don't know the steps that they took. I don't want to assume that they didn't try to go ahead and call the customer or, try to contact them in any way. But, people are crazy. That was absolutely uncalled for. He feared for his children's life, bro. Fear for his children's life. They not even in your house. They in front of your house, bro. Whew. That's something. That is something. They are definitely lucky to be alive, though. They are definitely lucky to be alive, because, like I said, some people don't live to tell the tale, because I've heard plenty of times, maybe not necessarily with delivery drivers, but I've heard, some people just go up to the wrong door and, they knock on the door, ring the doorbell, and pff, boom, gone. Just like that. That's crazy. I don't understand people, bro. But yeah, I hope that dude, he got to get locked up for something. Attempted murder might be a reach, but they got to charge him with something. If they haven't already, they got to charge him with something. So that's crazy. That is crazy. All right, moving on to the last video, y'all. Last video.
Ma'am, it's Instacart. I'm leaving your right here. But before I leave, I want to tell you, you put too much in your memo. Get the eggs from the bag. Drive easily over the bump so my eggs don't crack. It's too much. I'm already in the goddamn shopping store for over an hour. Then you want me to reach to the back to see the date that's the long. I'm not doing all that no more, ma'am. You're finna make me quit my job. Don't do that. You stay blessed. Your Instacart is here.
Ursuline. Get your ass off my porch.
Did Instacart give you my ID number? Did Instacart give you my ID? Sorry, ma'am. Please don't report me. I'm just trying to keep my job. Stay blessed.
Stay blessed, Ursuline.
Bro, yeah, that was funny. That's a good one to go into after that last one. But I'm up here crying, laughing. She funny. She's oh my god. But listen, that was nah, she right though, because sometimes some folks be leaving too many instructions, and I haven't done Instacart yet, so I don't know what those instructions look like. But I can kind of understand why some people do leave those instructions, because I have had my fair share of Instacart shoppers go ahead and get my groceries, and it's a mess. Like, I've heard some people say, well, Instacart drivers, they should go ahead and shop like, how they would shop. So if they wouldn't grab it themselves, why would you grab it for the customer and stuff like that? And yeah, that's true. But in all honesty, some people don't know how to shop. Like, I'm super picky. Like, for instance, you got some folks who go up to the produce section, all the fruits and vegetables. And like I said, two types of people. You got some people that just go grab, put whatever, just grab, first thing they see, they grab it. Then you got some people who go ahead and pick through. No, don't look right, put that back. Pick up another one, put that back. I'm that person. I go ahead and I go through trying to find the nicest looking fruit. I do the same thing with my meat too. But I ain't gonna lie, sometimes these prices, I be looking at the thing, I'm like, ooh, this 13 cents cheaper. Yeah, I grabbed that one. I don't know if y'all do that one, but I do that one sometimes. But yeah, sometimes there are just simply some shoppers who just don't care and they grab whatever. Like, there was one time that I think I was making like some chicken noodle soup because, I was sick. So I didn't go out. So I ordered the, groceries and everything, get everything delivered. I got my carrots, I got my celery, all that stuff, right? And I'm looking at the carrots. It was the bag carrots, and there was mold on the tops of the carrots. And I'm like, how did this person not even pay attention to, like, you literally just grabbed the first bag and like didn't even, like, come on now. So I really try my hardest to not get any type of produce if I am using Instacart because of people like that. Yeah, it gets frustrating because, yeah, there are literally some people that just don't care. There are some people that just don't care. They just grab the first thing that they see, they throw it in the cart, move on. And, sometimes you might have to leave some instructions like that. Now, that might have been a little bit over the top. I'm not gonna lie. Like, for me, I do check expiration dates on certain items like dairy, stuff like that. But if it's like canned goods, I'm not really checking the dates as often as maybe I should, or, grabbing from the way back because, usually the fresher stuff is at the back. I don't usually do that much all the time. So every now and then, it just depends on what I'm shopping for, right? But, at some point, like, if you're gonna be that picky when it comes to your groceries, you might just have to go ahead and do it yourself, or maybe send a family member if you can. Because, certain things, I just may not trust a random person to go ahead and do it. And that's no offense to, shoppers or anything like that, or even the customers. Because, like I said, sometimes you might be sick. Something might come up. You just don't feel like going, whatever. That's why the service is there for you, right? But some people, they don't shop good. They really don't shop good. But no, that video was funny. The customer was a good sport about it. They were a good sport about it. So yeah, but no, that was cute. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up this episode of Toya Reacts. Now, if you guys want to chime in at all, talk about any of these topics that we covered today from these videos, make sure you leave it in the comments. Also, if there is a video that you guys would like me to react to, make sure you send it to toyadrives1@gmail.com, and I might showcase the video and give you a shout out. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. And as always, stay safe out there and keep grinding.